What's up, YouTube? It's Nice Man. 72 hashtag Dirty South Productions. I got Bobbles here with me. We're waiting on the GOAT to get on here. Bobbles, thanks for jumping on here tonight, man. You've been busy tonight. You had a great video earlier tonight, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, what's up, guys? What's up, Blinded and B1G? I've never seen y'all in my chat, so welcome. I've seen Blinded around on some other channels. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing those on Sundays with the subs and everything, and it's just a way for the whole community to connect, man. It's awesome.
Hey, I'm getting a message from the GOAT now.
Don't tell me you don't know how to use StreamYard.
Here we go.
Oh, there he is. It doesn't show me that he's even in here.
You're in. Your lights are out.
That's the tuxedo.
Oh yeah, he's wearing his tux. No, sir. We can hear you. We just can't see you.
That didn't help.
Oh, no.
Oh, I need to do mine like that. I haven't played around with all the little buttons.
I know I'm here and played with it earlier. Nolan, are you wearing a tuxedo?
I'm just wearing a t-shirt right now. I don't ever use StreamYard, so let me try something.
We got B1GS Scott 35. He asked, "Was this the Filmington delay?" Hey y'all, we got Collecting with Connor in here, man. He's the superstar of the week, man.
Man, I'm glad to have him on tonight. It really is awesome to see a kid. You know, I keep calling him a kid. He's a teenager, but that's like the time frame when collecting became a passion to most of us, and it's nice still seeing in 2020 that someone that was our age when we started is in the hobby just for the love of the hobby and, you know, the love of the game of baseball or whatever.
Yeah, and he's very knowledgeable too. I mean, he's shared some information with me on my videos. He's jumped on my chats and stuff before, and man, he's squared away. He's helped me on some stuff too. So now I know he is not a Zimmerman Hall of Famer fan, and we like to pick with him about that. So, but he is awesome. There he is. See y'all. It's true. Look.
Oh,
Yeah.
he had to. That's why he was blacked out. He had to go find the hat.
Yeah. Royals hat. Nationals?
Railroad tracks, baby. Railroad tracks.
Yeah. How's my audio?
Oh, you're good.
Put my hat like this. That's how I usually wear it. Yeah. Is that Zimmerman? Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, we got Connor on here. We got Connor on here tonight.
I mean, yeah, Zimmerman's had an awesome career. He's been the face of the franchise. He just doesn't have the numbers for a game. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on him.
Hey, he'll be in the Nationals Hall of Fame if nothing else.
Yeah, easily. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I don't do many of these deals really, StreamYard, but it's nice to be on talking to Bobbles and yourself.
Well, we appreciate it, man. You're the GOAT. We call you, we were talking about that earlier this week, man. We call you the GOAT in our SGC community. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you, and we had talked about it, was just some things about the hobby that you've seen over the years and how long you've been doing the hobby, kind of what made you go into slabbing. A lot of people may think recently because of SGC and you put some SGC stuff out there, but if they've watched your content, you've been consistent with who you submit with. You submit with PSA, you submit with SGC, and it seems like it depends on the card and what level it is and what services they provide.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that I weigh when I send a card in to get slabbed. And often, a lot of the cards you see on my reveal videos are cards that have been snapped up from other companies. There's little quirks here and there that you'll find with different companies. For instance, what most people know that Beckett's a little tougher on centering than PSA is. So you can kind of buy a PSA, buy a Beckett 9.5 with a 9 subgrade for centering, and that might be a card that you want to try to snap out when you go for the PSA 10. You know, a lot of the talk in the hobby is fake gem, true gem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fake gem, true gem. To me, a fake gem is a mint plus card. Although the label might say gem mint, to me it's mint plus. That's kind of how I treat it. I don't put too much stock into the card. I know a lot of people like to buy the label and not the card, and that's something I talk about all the time on my channel. So yeah, you know, and back in 2003, I always, well, I mean, do you want me to talk about how I first got into the hobby? Back when I was
a lot of people, we've been pushed, you know, like in our videos are like, you want to get educated on some cards and stuff, listen to Eliteco3. He's one of the guys that we put out here with some other guys that are very knowledgeable, and that, you know, we got a lot of new people in the community that are like following me now, and then definitely Bobbles is hot right now.
Bobbles is hot right now, definitely.
He is on fire, man.
I watch those podcasts all the time.
Yeah. Thank you for calling it a podcast. They asked me tonight about it. They were like, "Are you ever going to do a podcast?" And I'm like, "Well, this kind of is."
I
listen to it at work.
Bobbles, the one you had last weekend, that's honestly one of the best ones I've seen, like card-wise, in a long time. I can't remember the two guys you had on, but they were good.
Yeah, it was John and I know their names on YouTube. I don't know if you call it tonight's, but you might like tonight's too.
Yeah, Collecting, I check that one out. But you know, there's all these new investment channels popping up. There's Sports Card Investor. He's got a huge following. But honestly, what I saw on your channel last week trumps anything I've seen on there. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. You got channels with 50,000 like Jab's Family. You're not going to learn anything from Jab's Family. Hate to say it, but I mean, there's channels out there with bigger followings, but bigger doesn't always mean better to me. And that's what I want to stress with the hobby.
I started this, honestly, really, I started the channel about 6 months ago, maybe. And I was doing like the pack openings and stuff, just having fun with, you know, YouTube and the cards. And obviously retail kind of dried up, and I kind of stopped because my wife actually, she's the one on chatting right now. She does it with me. And
yeah, I see her kind of trolling the chat sometimes there.
Right.
Like
she likes to open cards with me. So to sit here behind the camera and do it, it's hard to, it's hard to balance that because she enjoys opening the cards. In fact, she pulls the big cards. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. She pulled the Tatis out of 5, right?
Yep, she pulled that.
Was it the parallel or the auto?
It was the Red Wave.
So, signed or not signed?
Unsigned.
Doesn't really matter to me, but yeah.
A big card. But then in March, I took some time away from work because the coronavirus and everything, and my son's diabetic. So I stayed home. Well, she's been working from home. And so during the day, instead of bothering her, she would cut on Netflix or whatever and listen to a show, and I'd get up here and I'd start doing videos. And I just started it one day, doing the live, and it just, I found I connected with people, just like right now, connecting with the people, answering questions, things like that. It made it more of a,
hey, what's up, Ron?
Personal, personal connection with the people that were watching it, rather than just talking behind a camera and then them going back and watching it, or trying to respond to a million comments of people with questions from the video. So that's why I started doing that. And I know they're long. I know, people aren't attracted to an hour-long video every night or whatever. But like you guys said, you listen to it while you're working or whatever, so you don't necessarily have to always see what's on my screen, but you can hear what I'm saying. And as far as
Yeah.
as far as the investment side and all that, when I'm talking like comparing prices or whatever, if you guys have noticed, I like digging into data. I like statistics, I like numbers, and I try to show what I'm talking about instead of saying, hey, go buy this Jonathan Tays, SP Authentic. It's going to blow up. The guy's going to be good. I want to show numbers. And so that's just kind of where I've led with it. And I want to stay to that.
Yeah, to me, it seems there's, and a lot of people have touched on this before, but it seems like there's a lot of people pumping cards now and talking cards up. Gary Vee's one I think of. I've never watched this channel, but I've heard people talk about him pumping cards and then buying cards. And honestly, I've never felt the need. I mean, I like to learn from other collectors, but I've never felt the need to take someone else's advice. I feel go out there and form your own opinions, like the players you like, make your own predictions. But I'm not going to be out here telling everybody buy this card, buy that card, because I mean, I don't know. I've had a lot of good buys and investments, but I'm not here to say buy this card, buy that card. I don't know. I don't like that aspect of it.
You want to know one reason I always question those that get on here to tell someone who to buy? Now, I know there's plenty out there in the market, right? But why am I going to sit here if I think it's a good buy and tell everybody, hey, go out there and buy this and drive the market up so I can't buy it?
This brings me to like last November. I was looking at players and I was like, okay, who am I going to buy? I was like, who's going to buy right now? And I was like, well, LeBron James. His stuff could go higher. So I bought a bunch of LeBron in November, and I bought a bunch of Peyton Manning '98 stuff. I bought his SP Authentic, which was undervalued. It was sitting at like 1,000 in a PSA 9, and Brady was like 6,000. I thought Manning should be half of Brady. So I think now it's crept more towards 2,000. But little things like that, like it's not like I don't think you should share all your ideas with everyone. I think you should keep something to yourself,
Yeah.
Well, what about the trend, Nolan and Bobbles? Y'all tell me this, and I'd like to get y'all's input on this, is like a lot of the channels that have been started in like the last year, it seems like that have gotten a really good growing, more so than not, they're starting to do like memberships. You got to pay to see the content, say a couple of days earlier or a week earlier to get the quick buys. What's y'all's opinion on that? Why would someone you think would be for that or not for that?
To me, that's just people not wanting to do their own work and their own thoughts. Like you can't have somebody think for you. You need to go out and check the market, check sales, feel the market. There's a lot of trends and momentum that I see. I think that's just people being lazy and wanting to be part of a group and part of a pack. It's kind of like a sheep going to slaughter. To me,
there's your saying, man. We use it all the time, brother. Rolling across.
Yeah, well, you know what? Something you'll find on my channel is I'm never going to charge anybody anything to watch my videos. I'm not going to, even if it's $2.99, I'm not going to charge somebody $2.99 to get extra content. Like, I mean, I don't feel like I'm that special enough to do that, and I don't think anybody out there is. So
you enjoy the hobby, and you enjoy sharing it with other hobbyists.
Yeah, that's why I started making videos on here. Yeah,
yep.
Don't pay for content. I just think it's silly. I think the people that charge for it, I mean, that's fine. That's their own thing. But
that's why we made the Facebook group. I mean, me and my wife didn't even have Facebook, and we made the Facebook group.
Yeah.
There's no membership
fee. I didn't join that group, by the way.
You're welcome to it, man. It's a great group of people.
I just don't like Facebook because it's a lot of.
We only have it for the group.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't like to use Facebook, but for that, I will join your group. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about how I got started in the hobby. Okay. Right now I'm 35, so getting a little older. Beard's not quite gray yet, but it's going to be there soon.
Mine's not dark anymore, and
Yeah.
I'll be 40 in 9 days.
Right now, time's just flying for me. But I'm having a blast with the hobby. You know, I started the SGC last fall, and it was not because I wanted to pump SGC, it was just because I wanted to try something else. You know, I was like, orders are taking a long time. I like PSA. I'm not going to bash PSA because I've been using them since 2010, and I've sent bulk after bulk with them and have a lot of great experiences. I've had some, you know, not perfect experiences too. But back to my starting the hobby. So I mean, I was born in Utah, and I started collecting when I was about 5. So, and I've told this story before. My mom would go to the grocery store and bring 1990 Donruss. She brought a factory set to me. That was kind of my start. Those red cards that I break all the time to this day trying to find 10s. But she brought that home, and I used to collect with my brother. And I know I don't want to get all sad with the podcast, but I know Bobbles lost his brother.
Mm-hmm.
I also lost my brother. I don't talk about it ever, but he kind of got me into the hobby. He was 2.5 years older than me, and we would collect together and do it all together. He passed away in 2005 when he was 23 and I was 20. I don't think I've ever talked about that, but he was kind of the guy that I looked up to collect, and we would make we called them guy books, and a guy book was where you put each guy with each other. So you'd have like your Mark McGwire cards would be on these 2 pages, and then we'd have Griffey, and we'd have all the baseball players through our books, and that's how we collected for the longest time. You know, when I was 10 years old, I didn't care about condition really. You know, I just liked having the cards and going through the sets. I would sort cards for hours when I was young, and it just never stopped. I mean, you all my friends would collect with me when we were like 12, and then they went on to other things, right? And I just never stopped. Like when I was 13, I'd open some boxes of 98 Bowman Chrome, trying to find like Jimmy Rollins rookies and stuff like that. But so I first started buying higher end stuff like 2003. That was my first year of college. And the first high-end card I ever bought was a Vic SPX.
Vic, there you go.
I know it's a big shock, but that was the first big card I ever bought. It was like $350, which I was only 19. I mean, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, Vic was
that's kind of my first start into it, and that was the same fall that I started buying like Peyton Manning, the SP Authentic. I just started seeing cards, you know, like cards that I thought, you know, in the future, these will probably be worth more. It's kind of why I call my business Cardboard Futures, because I'm always looking towards the future. It's not always about today. So Peyton Manning SP Authentic, I would just buy players that I thought, you know, these guys are on a path to be Hall of Famer. Tomlinson, he's another guy. Just players like that are the players that I bought. Griffey was my favorite player for my whole life, so I mean, I'm always going to buy Griffey. But players like that, that's kind of what got me into it.
Was you a fan when he went to the Reds? Because I loved Griffey, but when he went to the Reds, I am one that when I have a favorite player and they leave, it's hard for me to follow them.
Yeah, Griffey with the Reds was tough for me, like most people. I mean, every memory that we have is him with Seattle. It was tough for me when he played at Safeco. Even I think he only played there. He played there for like 1 or 2 years.
2, I think.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, he wasn't there long.
Mariners left the Kingdom. It was like, why are you leaving the Kingdom? Because it's all you're used to, you know. So when they went to Safeco, it kind of hurt. But when he went to the Reds, yeah, that definitely. And, you know, he was getting older. I think at that time he was like 30, which isn't that old, but in baseball he was about halfway done. He had been dealing with some injuries, and it only got worse in Cincinnati.
And it wasn't long after that big run they had, that huge season when they had A-Rod and Randy Johnson, and wasn't it the Boone brothers, Martinez?
Oh yeah.
I mean, and then they broke the team up.
Yeah, and then they, I think it was the '97 trade deadline. They dealt Randy Johnson to Houston for, let's see if I can remember it, John Halama, Carlos Ian, and I think there was one more, and that was the '97 team when Alex Rodriguez was in his like second year with the team. So that was kind of the first piece that left, and then Griffey left after the '99 season, right? And then he went to Cincinnati in 2000.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. I know it was like not long after that, and they just dismantled that whole team.
Yeah, there are some Reds cards of Griffey that I do have, but I don't like seek out the Reds ones really. I mean, if it's there and it's a cool card that's numbered refractor, then maybe I might bid on it. But for the most part, I don't seek out Griffey on the Reds, and that's how a lot of collectors are, I think.
Explain what a casket card is for some folks, because I love the term. I use it now.
Casket card. That's only for people that actually love the hobby, and it's a card that you like. You enjoy the card so much, and you like it. So when you do die, you just want it thrown into the casket with you, and you don't want to sell it. So that's a casket card. It's it's not like literal. Some people think it's like literal, but it's just like a term, like a card that you like a lot as part of your PC that you would not sell. So that's kind of what it is to me. And there's slab cans.
Bobbles, do you have any casket or slab cans?
I actually just picked up. It's nothing big. I showed it on the channel. It's actually right down here. This one.
That's awesome.
It's only a 2.5, but if you actually looked at the card, the corners and everything are sharp on it. It has a gum stain, so we got a 2.5.
Yeah. It's like some card like that. It's like the technical grade is low, but the card looks better than the technical grade.
But the reason I say that, and I told the story, I had this card when I was like 12 or 13 years old, and an old man gave me and my cousin a box of old cards, and we split them up. And I got the Hank Aaron, but I was a dumb teenager, and I didn't appreciate who Hank Aaron was.
Yeah.
And I traded it to some friends for, some of the more popular guys at the time. And then ever since then, I've wanted to replace it. And it was a couple of weeks ago, I seen one at a show. It was just a small card show. And this thing, it looks awesome. And so I picked it up. It was cheap. And
yeah.
So I don't know where he went.
Yeah. We lost him.
It's weird. It's still streaming though, I think. I got a question about.
Y'all were talking about yours. I had to show mine real quick.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna grab a card too. I want to show you guys a card too. That's kind of like the Hank you just showed.
Before you do, I got one question about your collection, and on the topic of this. I know you're mainly PSA and SGC, and you crack BGS. But there was
I
one.
don't like Beckett.
But you showed your collection one night, and you do have some BGS in your collection. I was curious. I've been curious ever since watching that why you never cracked those and had them subbed somewhere.
Like, this is a card that I've wanted to crack. I brought it out for this, but this is a card I bought 2010, I think, for around $1,000, and it's a card. It's in the Beckett holder. Like, to me, it doesn't look good in this holder, and that's just my opinion. I don't like the subgrades. I know a lot of people like to see why a card got a certain grade, but to me, that's how you get fake gems, because some cards with the 9 corner just aren't flat out are not gem mint cards. But with Beckett's system, you can have 3 9/5s and a 9. With them, it can be gem mint on the label, but to me, it's not gem mint when it has a corner like that. And that's just my opinion on the whole aspect of it. So
it's just like two pristines.
Yeah, that's the card I would like. I would send this to PSA. I don't know if I would crack a card like this. I would send it to them and have a minimum grade of a 9. And to me, it looks like a 9, but they might be biased, because it's in the Beckett holder, and just send it back. And that's what I think would probably happen. But to me, this is a mid-9 card.
I got a card. I'm so worried about that. I got a Wander Franco card, and it's the Bowman First, and it's a hand auto. And I didn't know that SGC didn't. It was my very first SGC order, and Andy actually called me, which was great customer service. First time customer. Hey, we don't authenticate anymore. So he sent it back. I went with Beckett. Of course, I paid the money for the subgrades because I didn't know any better, and did the auto grade on it. Well, it's a Gem Mint 9.5 Beckett. It's a true Gem Mint, but the auto grade's an 8.
Yeah. Okay. Auto grades is something else. I don't like auto grades.
I feel like filming with his Wander Franco he showed the other day on his video. I'm gonna probably end up cracking it or just sending it because I actually watched your crack video.
Honestly, yeah. With those, the 8 auto can hurt the card a lot. I think Even
and there's some players.
True Gem, that 8 just looks bad on it. Even a 9 looks bad on there. Like I had a Peterson Contenders Beckett 9.5 with the 7 auto. It just looked terrible. So my advice would be slab with SGC or PSA and don't have the autos graded because I think it hurt you more than it helped you.
Yeah, I think it did.
As a collector, I can pick this card up, right? And I can stare at the auto and be like, it looks pretty good. It's not like smudged and doesn't look terrible. Okay, this is a good auto, Like I don't think you need to have an auto grade, and that's just my opinion on that because I just think it adds too much clunkiness. I think the SGC slab with the 2 big numbers doesn't look good either.
Yeah.
So when I send in my SGC stuff, I always say just don't even grade the autos, just grade the card. So.
I'm gonna share this real quick. My dad's been passed away for a year now, and one of the reasons I got back in the hobby was honestly to deal with that. And it's something me and Bobbles have talked about. But I've had this card since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I've actually got.
I like that black folder.
Yeah, it's the
Ultra Pro tuxedo, huh?
4-man tux. It's the rental.
It looks good.
This is the card I've had. I'm not going to get it graded. I'm just going to keep it in this. But every variation of this, I think I've got. I've got OP. I got the OPs. I've got the Nestle Proof. I've got them. I've got. I think every version of this card you can get, to include Blake Jameson's rendition of it for Topps 2020. And this is my casket card or whatever.
Everybody has a card that they just love. Here, I'll show you one. I tried to grab a few for this. This is like my favorite Griffey Donruss. So this card.
Oh yeah.
If you ever open these boxes, it's tough to find one in Gem.
It's tough to get a 10.
Actually, I think I bought one. I think I bought one from your eBay store.
But I've opened so many boxes of this and seen this card so many times that when I break a box of this now, I can just tell if it's a 10 or not. So it just depends on if like PSA wants to give it a 10 or not. Because you can tell where the Griffey starts and how much border you have and the right to left. And then, of course, you can't have any chipping. So SGC will hand those 10s out when they're warranted, which is cool. I think PSA is a little tougher sometimes with cards like that. So
it seems like PSA is tougher on their modern than they are like their 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s.
Here. I wanted to touch on this. So I didn't share this order with everybody, but I snapped out a bunch of PSA and Beckett cards from like the 70s and 80s.
Y'all hear that first.
Because I wanted to get them into the tux. And I set this order off in like March or April when SGC was getting cards back fast, right? And SGC was tougher seemingly on every card than PSA 70s and 80s by about a half grade. So that's something to consider. A lot of people will say SGC. I mean, everybody has their opinion. Like SGC grades easy, they hand out 10s. PSA grades easy, they hand out 10s. But from my experience, 70s, 80s, SGC is very consistent and very good with that genre.
Well, Bobbles has got a group submission he's doing, and me and him were talking, and I've got some that I'm on the fence on sending some of my 80s stuff, and so that's good to hear. But I think Bobbles has got something.
Well, as you're talking on like they're handing out 10s, every card that I've gotten back, up until my last order, I've actually been able to tell, you know, even if it's just a small speck of white in the corner that I missed or whatever, I've actually been able to tell why they didn't 10. This last order with my 2020 tops and the 2019 updates, I did all of my Bobachettes and all my Vlad Jr. Updates, 0 10s.
Yeah,
and
that,
I don't know why.
the Vlad US one.
Yeah.
Those the top two edge corners are the ones that have the little white.
Yeah, and in the middle, I actually have the gold, and it got a 10. So I actually have a gold in the 10, which shocked me.
Wow.
But they're definitely tough. Keston Hero's tough. Bobachette, Jordan, all of it's like ever since Series 2 in 2019. After that, like I guess Top started rushing production or something.
Is that the rainbow foil or is that chrome?
Cone, the rookie debut chrome in blue.
Oh, cool.
It's 73 out of 150.
Yeah, I have
a lot of those card savers if you need them. Bobbles is handing out card savers, I hear.
Man, did you see the auction?
Yeah. No, I bought a whole case of those a couple weeks ago because I noticed the price like doubled on those.
Yeah.
We bought them in April, and they were 129 or something like that. 149. Actually, my wife bought them.
Yeah.
She was smart jumping on that then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Hey, what trends have worked out for you since you've in the last couple of years? What trends have you seen work or not work?
Okay, this is something that I like to look at with cars when I'm buying raw on eBay. I think the common sentiment in the hobby is you have to have a PSA 10, right? You have to have a 10, PSA 10, this and that. But in my experience, PSA 9 with classic rookies like Peyton Manning and Moss, buy a card, and a lot of times people sell the card because there is one small thing wrong with it, and it will grade a 9. Buy that 9, grade the 9, and you'll be all right. I mean, you're not going to get the huge sale, but my biggest thing towards collectors is you don't have to have a 10 on the older classic rookies like the Barry Sanders Sport. I think that and the 9's over $100 now.
Look at LeBron Tops.
What?
Look at LeBron Tops.
Yeah, exactly. That card was like $75 to $100 raw all day long for 10 years.
I bought mine February 17th for $225.
Yeah, and I think that's when they first started to climb, right?
I bought it it's back there on the shelf. I bought it for the collection. I didn't expect it to skyrocket.
Last summer at the National, I was buying Beckett 9s, PSA 9s for $125.
Yeah, I actually sold Zion. I sold 3 Zions for $600. I bought that LeBron, and I bought a Alex Ovechkin Young Gun because we're near DC, and that's in an 8. And I paid $550 for both of those, and now I think Ovi's up at like $500 and LeBron's at $1,000 plus.
Is it really?
There's one on the Tops. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one on auction right now. It's got over a day. It's over $1,000.
I like this card better.
I know you do.
Yeah, you do.
This is a star rookie.
You've outbid me a couple times.
Up now, aren't those a couple $100? I mean, like $300 or $400 now.
I think it's about 400 raw, right?
They might be more.
All right, so the reason I like this more is I don't think it was part of a factory set, and it's a lot tougher to pull than the flagship. And it's the star rookie, and not super short print, but I like the photo better too. So,
and that's where I think a lot of people lose, don't you? I mean, I do. Getting back in the hobby, it's like you had said it earlier, and Bobbles has said it, and I've said it before, but it's like people are more worried about the slab than they are the card. I've got 8s. I got a 7, and I think the card looks great. I like the card. I got it. It's slabbed, and I know it's protecting the card.
A lot of times,
hard.
Yeah, like we were talking about before with the 2.5 that Bobbles showed. There's something technical going on with that card, like the stain on the back. But if you look at the card, it looks great. And with an 8, it could be something small in the back that you can't really see through the slab, and that's probably why it's an 8. Because a lot of people get their orders back, and they're like, hey, I don't know why it's an 8, but there is a reason. There's a lot of small things that can happen with the card, and it's hard to see what's going truly on with the card when it's in the slab. That's why I've always said crossover grading makes no sense, because if you grade cards, you have to have the card raw out of the holder to see every aspect, see the surface, tilt the card, look at the card. You can't see it when it's in an inch of plastic. You can't determine an actual grade. I mean, you can make an estimate, but you're not going to find an actual accurate grade. You're just throwing numbers out there and crossing this, crossing that. That's my opinion on that.
But also, as a true collector, like, for example, I showed this Aaron, but then I have a Gretzky I bought. It's an SGC 4.5. It fit my budget, and do you ever buy a card, like, not to flip or sell or, raw to grade or whatever, but a card that has been historically reprinted, that when you're looking on eBay you may not know is a reprint or original, and if it's like up there in price but you want to add a nice looking copy to your collection, have you ever went that route? Because that's what I did on that Gretzky. It's a 4.5, but it's actually well centered. The color's good on it. It's just the corners are soft, and I think it actually got graded hard.
No, SGC does grade those cards hard. They will grade those cards hard. Like that could very easily be a PSA 5.5. But it's probably something on the back. It's probably like a wrinkle through the back of the card that you can't see on the front. It's probably something like that. That's probably why it's a 4.5. And of course the soft corners. But vintage, sometimes there's a lot of little things that can happen that can just kill the grade, and it's just technical grade, like we've talked about. But a card like that I bought was the 54 Topps Hank Aaron. And I think I bought an SGC 4.5, and it's like, first thing I want is one that's centered, not perfect, but pretty good centered, and that's kind of what I went for on the Hank. I don't remember the price; it was over $2,000, I think, but it's a nice copy. I bought it to keep and not sell. There are cards I buy not to sell. There's cards I buy, and then I'm like, oh, I like this card. I don't love it, so I put it in my store, and I put CBF at the end, and I'll put like a number of the cert. And then if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't sell, then I just keep it. A lot of times those cards sell for prices that I didn't think they would. So I don't know that.
Do you ever go to jabbing? Me and Bobbles joke on occasion about going jabbing. You ever go jabbing, going to like the flea markets or antiques?
No, I don't do any of that. The only show I go to is the National, and they're not having it. Well, they're having it in December, I think. So I'll be going out to that. But I like doing stuff online. I like selling online. It's so easy, I don't like paying the fees, but I think they're doing something different with PayPal. They're going to do like managed payments. And
eBay's taking over the payments.
Yeah, so will that save us on the PayPal fee?
Supposedly the fee will be deducted straight from, like, as soon as the card's sold, the fee is going to be deducted from what you get paid, and from the way I understand it, the money won't go into like your PayPal account unless you set it up as like the account you want it to go to. It's supposed to go, like, it keeps telling me to link a bank account, and the money will go directly into the bank account.
Yeah, I actually had to do that a couple of weeks ago. They were telling me to do that because I sell a lot on eBay, and they were like pushing the managed payments down my throat for like.
Oh yeah, like every 2 days you'll get an alert.
I signed up for managed payments every couple of days. Like, okay, I'm gonna do it today.
They said.
What about the guaranteed protection now for the seller? And it looks like it's going to affect the hobby for like y'all move a lot of cards, or high end cards, with the return policy and stuff.
Yeah, I think Bobbles had a bad experience lately. I can't remember what it was, but it was like on one of his recent podcasts. The person, maybe it was a pair of shoes his daughter had or something. But
Yep.
I had a Brady. I think it was an Ultimate Victory 2000 PSA 9. I sold it for like $600. This is back in the fall, and the guy 1 month later said, "Oh, I'm going to return it because I paid too much," something like that. So he was able to return the item after a month. So it kind of sucks being a seller when eBay doesn't care about you. I mean, they care about getting your monies for fees, but they don't like protect sellers at all.
I
So
think it killed the Tops Project 2020 folks that were in it just to flip.
Well, I talked about it a lot, or the other night, and I posted in the Facebook group because our Facebook group, we actually screen everybody through the scammers page to make sure everybody is safe in the group. And my wife likes to get on there and read like articles in the scammer page, and it's becoming a very common thing where people are returning cards like or damaging a card and sending it back, or like she showed buying raw cards, they're sending them in saran wrap, and I guess they don't have top loaders. um,
you should see some of the stuff I've gotten in because I buy a lot of stuff. I mean, I've gotten cards just shipped without saran wrap, just put into a plain white envelope. That's
my
a good
wife
card.
said to my wife said to show you this real quick.
That's I think there was a question at the bottom. Tips for people that are on a budget.
Yeah,
Those are the cards.
cards.
Those are the cards. That if you're on a budget, that's the kind of card that you should be eyeing.
We found this at a local antique shop. I paid like $6 for it.
Yeah, that's an awesome card. That card is very tough to grade.
It actually looks great, surprisingly.
So the advice I would give a collector on a budget is to target key cards like that aren't priced too high. Like Ichiro Topps 2001, Pujols stuff. Some of Pujols' stuff, of course, I would say the Star Rookie is undervalued. I think it's $25 raw. I mean, that's really not a crazy price for a card like that. I would target key players, that are destined for the Hall of Fame, cards that haven't jumped up too much, and I would focus on like basic sets like Upper Deck, Bowman, Topps. I would target the Peyton Manning Bowman Raw. I've been buying those still for $20. That's cheap. PSA 9s I've seen go for close to $100. And if you can buy a raw for 20 and a PSA 9 for 90, buy those raw all day long because that set's not that tough.
I want to tell you something with that whole comment there. Stick to the base sets, stick to the true rookies. And I want to thank you because when me and my wife got back into the hobby, we got into doing online breaks.
Yeah, there's just too many relics, parallels, green, red, blue. It goes on and on.
We were chasing autos.
Yeah.
And losing horribly. And I finally one day just, after watching it wasn't even anything really that you said. It was just seeing your trend of, what you send out and what you were getting back and the base cards. And I was like, you know what? We can buy a case of Topps Update or Upper Deck Hockey or whatever for the price that we're paying, to get in 2 or 3 breaks and sometimes not hitting a single card.
Yeah.
And then when I'm looking at, you can pick a card up for $10 or a card's worth $10, and then that's what keyed me into the grading aspect. Okay, I can turn this $10 card into $60.
Okay,
it's
and that can key us into the next discussion, which is why I started grading, right?
Right.
So from 2003 to about 2009, I collected raw. I bought the mid high end stuff. I was in college, getting out of college at that time, and I bought a lot of the higher end stuff. That's when I bought a lot of my Breeze SP Authentics, Topps Chromes, and the SPXs. believe it or not, that top scrum I used to buy for $20 all day long. It was $25, and that was back in like 2007 when he was one of the good players in the NFL. He was, I think he threw for like 30 touchdowns in 2006 with the Saints. I mean, he was established, but that card hadn't gone up yet. So, and then in about 2010, like, I don't know, it was like March 2010, and I was looking at cards and I was just thinking, man, I've got some cards that look pretty good. And the thing I had with grading was I didn't want to send my cards away because I thought they'd get lost, right? I was just being a little baby. So finally, I first company I sent to was Beckett, and I did like a 50 card order, and like they came back and I got like a Breeze Contenders 9.5, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And that's kind of what got me hooked right there. Then I started sending with PSA a couple months later. And I was just seeing the, like Bobbles said, $10 card to 60, $5 card to 40, $100 card into 300. I was seeing how that was happening over and over, and I was paying, I don't know, at that time I was paying, I think my first bulk order I paid $5 a card or $4.75 with PSA. Back in the day, I used to get some great rates with PSA before everyone was sending them, and I used to get my bulk orders back in about 4 or 5 weeks. That was like in 2007, but things have changed a little bit since then.
My 5 cards took 6 months.
Yeah, I mean those were the days. But also on the flip side, the hobby wasn't as like expanded as it is now. I mean,
and it wasn't dependent on grading either.
Yeah, I mean people were integrating, but not as much now. And the group breaking was kind of just funneling in. It wasn't like how it is now, and that's what gets a lot of those products to move is group breaks. Because I mean, who's sitting there breaking a 19 NT basketball box in their basement? I mean, if you just like to gamble, yeah, but products like that, I don't think people are just buying a box and breaking it, So a lot of products I think only move because of group breaks. So it helps the hobby in that way, but it's also ramped up all the prices if you just want to buy a box of cards, I mean, Bowman this year came out, and Bowman's a product that I love, and Bowman was coming out. I think Blowout had it like close to $300 for a hobby box. I mean, that's just crazy. One auto per box, $300.
Jumbos are 6 something, ain't they?
Yeah, Jumbos came out at like 600. The odds are in your hobby box, you're gonna hit a $5 auto. So it's just like crazy to me.
Yeah, we actually are, I don't know, 40 minutes away from Blowout's store because they actually have a physical shop.
Yeah.
So we have a small shop that's about 40 minutes the other direction, and then Blowout if we go north. I'm telling you, man, people like up until after like February, March, we could find retail. I mean, we ripped a ton of Prism, ton of Optic, all bought retail, no markup, no nothing. You go up there, and now that you can't find anything, it is just amazing to see. And obviously right now, things are different, but back in March, there was people going in there paying, what was it, $40-50 for a pack of Prism, and they would just rip them, and not even buy a box. They were just dropping 40, not even paying attention to who they were getting, really. They were just looking for Zion.
Yeah, see, that's...
And I was like...
I don't know about that.
Oh, man.
Okay, so my thing with the hobby is I like to make money like most people do in the hobby, but I like to do it honestly. Like, people like PWCC, they cut corners, They were like coloring cards. And I don't know what they were doing, trimming cards and getting people to do that. I think when companies are more focused on money than the hobby, that's when it goes wrong every time. Now, if you're in it for money and the hobby and you have a balance of both, it's good. But when you're just, money's here, maybe hobby's like right there, then that's when you start cutting corners and cheating people. And that's what's not cool, because there's people like us that actually respect the hobby and have a history with it, like back to when I was 5 years old and, opening a pack of cards when you're 5. Some people don't have that experience. They just think, oh, I'm going to get a Zion and sell it for $50,000, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, like when we bought Prism, we would buy retail, and I'll be honest, I sold Zion and Ja as soon as we pulled them, and then I'd take that to cover buying more.
Yeah.
And the guys on the channel and in the Facebook group have seen, I now have a mass amount of rookies that weren't named Zion Williamson and John Morant that people are wanting now because, well, they're getting priced out of Zion and Ja already, so they're going to
so why
like
not go for somebody else?
SGA and Reddish and these other guys. I've just had them sitting over there, Kobe White, so I was making. Well, we hit. I've told this story to everybody on our channel, but people have asked when I do like an ROI on a bulk order return, and they're like, "Well, you didn't figure in how much you spent on product." Well, you guys know you can't sit there and calculate. Okay, well, I pulled this out of this box. I pulled this out of the. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's just too much. Like, I mean, everybody's into the ROI and the investment aspect of it, but I think if you're doing well or you're not doing well, just by how stuff's flowing through your store, stuff you're sending and getting back. But yeah, I think that's always been an aspect of the hobby. People just looking for the big hit, which I'm not gonna knock it and say it's terrible. But if you're just buying a box and if you don't get Zion, you throw every card, most of them in the trash. Or this is all junk. Like, you don't look at the cards or the parallels or try to find any value in your box, and you're doing the hobby a disservice.
Look at all the LeBron base I've graded.
Just give me your Kobe Whites. That's all I ask. Just give me your Kobe's.
Just look at what these are doing.
Yeah, you've got a lot of those, don't you?
He's all about the LeBron this year.
Hey, you had the rookie market. I'll take the Laker rookie market.
Yeah, take it. I don't have a lot of the Lakers stuff. Next week, I've actually got a tux order coming back, so there's some pretty cool stuff in there. I want to try to do it live. I want to shoot it in 1080 though. Do you guys know how to shoot live in 1080? Because I'm not good with technical. As you can see, I couldn't even turn my camera on earlier.
I'm hashtag productions.
You have an actual external webcam, right?
Yeah.
You should be able to just down here, like if you're using this, I'll use this as an example. If you go to the cam and mic and click on that little gear looking thing.
Oh yeah,
and then where it says camera, you can change to which camera you want.
All right.
And then down there where the resolution is, you can change that.
Yeah, because I want to do it live, because I think it'd be cool to do one live. I did it back in March, and it's just cool to see the comments come in.
I use my cell phone as my camera.
Yeah, actually, that's how I film. I just use my phone.
Do you use OBS?
No, not really.
Yeah, I use OBS. And I have a 4K camera, but it was a pain in the butt to do the videos and then upload and everything else.
Always simpler is better for me when I'm filming and the edits. I've gotten better with the editing. I've added in stuff over the years, but it was like pulling teeth getting me to add stuff on the screen and doing different things, because some of my first videos were pretty bland. But I mean, that's just when I first made a video. What?
One of the favorite ones, though, and I think you even commented on it, was the whiteboard sessions.
Oh yeah, I need to bring those back.
Yeah,
those were fun. There's probably some good advice on those if you go back to them now.
Yeah,
I think those were like 2014 or 2015 when I used to do those. But yeah, those were fun. The audio is terrible; you can barely hear me. But I'm trying to make some good points on there. So I've always had the knowledge to share, but I just haven't been the best with the technical aspect of it, and that's something that I've tried to work on. But I'm having fun making the Cardboard Futures videos where I show the sales and stuff. Those are a lot of fun because I just film little clips throughout the week of stuff that's sold, and then I put the prices.
And if people are watching that and they're watching like content like what Bobbles is and a couple other people are doing, if you're watching that and then you're seeing what's being sold, and you're somebody in my position that's got a card, okay, that's putting a finger on the pulse of what people are wanting at the time. It's very, very informative stuff y'all put out.
Something else I do is I like to sell PSA 10s that don't look like 10s. And like if I buy a card in, I know most people just want the PSA 10, right? Like I'm holding this card, the PSA 10, it says PSA 10. Well, I'll grab the card and I'll get my this out and I'll get my light out and I'll look at the whole card, as best as I can when it's in the slab. And if I see like a corner that got messed up when they put it in the slab or something wrong with it, then it goes straight to the store. And in all the times I've done that, I've never had somebody say, "Hey, this 10 has a bad corner." They're like, "I got the 10, I don't care." So,
Yeah, that's all that matters.
that's all that matters. I mean, to me, I want the card to look like a 10 if I'm going to spend that much money, and that's why I don't really buy 10s. I'll just buy the card raw because there's so much inconsistency in grading that a lot of times 10s slip through the cracks. So to me, I'm not paying a huge premium for a 10. Never have. It's a certain card, certain set. Like a set that comes to mind is 2004 SPX football. If you guys have ever looked at that set with Fitzgerald and Big Ben and Eli, that's one of the most condition-sensitive sets out there. There's white chipping on almost every card. That's a card I would pay a premium for a 10 in, and just hope it's not trimmed. You know how people like to trim to get the 10s, and they do slip through the cracks because graders aren't perfect. They're grading stuff fast. I know SGC's been absolutely bombarded. People don't get how many orders SGC was getting in compared to what they were. I talked to Andy on Friday because he was telling me that my order was coming back. And he said their business was up, what was it, like 10 times or something crazy like that.
I can tell you how many they've gotten in.
So from this time last year, that's how much their business is up. And it's people like us sending orders in. I like both. Like I don't want to be like, I like SGC. I like PSA. Certain cards go to certain companies for me. I know like some people like to use SGC because the cards are going to come back faster. I think now SGC cards are going to start coming back a little faster because I talked to Andy. He said they're almost caught up. Like this is the first week that I'm not going to ask employees to come in on a Saturday. That's what he told me Friday. Like they're all pumped up at SGC right now. So
March 13th was my first order with them, and my order number, this is funny, my order number was 30,000, okay, exact. The last order they checked in for me was June 29th. The number was 60,464.
Wow. That just shows you. I mean, you know what? Something else that we haven't talked about is PSA raised prices on the ultra modern. So for me, that changes my business aspect slightly. Couple of cards that come to mind, cards that I would have sent to PSA.
Acuna.
Like the Series 1 Bichette Jordan, right? Those are $5 cards. Those I'd probably go to PSA with those, but now those are SGC. I'm not paying $12 to have that card graded. That's going to SGC. All cards like that are going to be funneled over to SGC now. Some of the better modern stuff, 2017 to present, that's got a raw value of 25 and up, probably go to PSA with a lot of those, but a lot of that low-end stuff is going to go to SGC. So that's how it's going to change my thought process on it.
With PSA, are you still doing bulk? Because I've been noticing you're only, like, recently you've been doing the preferred economy or whatever it is?
I like to send a couple of those out a week, and I've got a ton out there still, but yeah, I've actually been grinding really hard these past 2 months. I've sent over 2,000 to PSA lately, and it's a lot of junk wax. I've been, breaking boxes 84 to, 2,000 baseball cards. A lot of that stuff. I mean, I'm going to have some really cool PSA 500 card orders coming up. And I'm also prepping in SGC bulk, probably 300 or so. So yeah, I do still send the bulks to PSA.
There's a question from Chili's. Ask Elite if you had only one box to open, what would you open?
Easy.
The Donruss.
This one. That's easy because it's got Griffey, but it's got Biggio, Schilling, tons of Hall of Famers. Tony Gwynn,
Randy Johnson,
Sheffield. I just like that box, and I like how you can buy one for $25 and have fun. You don't have to pay $300 for a box and then feel like crap. You know, you break a box of that, you find 2 or 3 cards to send off or so, and you feel like, okay, that was fun too. You don't feel like crap afterwards. So yeah, it would be something like that. I'm not into the ultra modern box breaks that much. I mean, I'll break a box of Heritage High Number or Topps Chrome here or there because it's fun, but I'm not gonna go crazy buying like the high end baseball and doing the stuff like Phil's Pulls does and those high end boxes. I'm just not into that. That's a losing venture. Although it would be fun to break some, I think at some point you just throwing money in the toilet, you know? I mean,
kind of like what I did with fireworks this weekend.
yeah, kind of like that. But for Phil, it probably doesn't matter because he's got a lot of money. But for other collectors, can't do that all the time. I mean, you got to pull back a little bit.
Bobbles, you got a box that you Bobbles, you got a box that you would break. Oh, we may have stumped him, Nolan. We may
probably
have
hockey, right? Probably that upper deck hockey.
No, actually, well, are we going on current market value or when it came out?
Connor left it open for interpretation.
The Topps Finest that had the redemption cards for LeBron, the XRCs. What was that? Only because I got. Yeah, it was 0203. I would love to open more of that because I remember going to the hobby shop buying. They were in the mini boxes.
Yeah.
You had 3 mini boxes per actual hobby box or whatever, and I ended up with the stupid number 2 overall pick.
Darko?
Yes. I held it. I actually held it because, and I've told this story. The speculation was that the Cavs were thinking about taking Carmelo because he won the title with Syracuse, and then LeBron was going to fall to number 2. And if the Cavs took LeBron, then it was a given that the Pistons were going to take Carmelo. So I was like, okay, I'm in a good position. I'm either getting Carmelo or LeBron, and I got Darko. So I'd like another shot at that.
Yeah, definitely. Nats man, what about you?
I think I'd take the 84 Topps.
Yeah, try to pull a Donnie. There's something cool about breaking those old baseball boxes and just pulling like the key rookies, like 82 Donruss trying to pull a Cal. It's just fun. Even if it's not a perfect condition card, it's just fun trying to pull it. And I think that's part of being like a true collector. Like, it's just fun to do that. Most people won't get.
You have to remember those times, and a lot of the people that's in the hobby today, they don't have any of those memories because they were never a part of that. Like, those guys aren't going to tell a story of breaking 88 Donruss, the red ones or whatever that your mom brought home, or pulling the number 2 redemption card out of 0203 Finest. They don't have those tales because they just got in it.
Think back on those products now and think of the nostalgia aspect of it. You know, like this set just brings me back. Like going back and breaking 1990 Donruss and seeing that red. You know, it just brings you back to like
And on those cards, you get one, you get a serial number out of 10,000. Oh my God, I got it.
Yeah, but those are tough to pull. Trust me, I've broke a lot of 93 Donruss. That's a tough pull. I've pulled like Cecil Fielder before. It's tough to pull the good ones, but that just shows you how much product they made. But I think Bobbles touched on it. Like, people always ask, are we in a junk wax era now? And I don't think we are, but I do think products have been doing the same thing for years and years. Like, I mean, all the parallels, all the jersey relics. Like, I think they should just stop with all the relics they're doing. But
most of them are just cloth. It's not even any importance to it.
It's like a T-shirt that they had handed to them for a minute, and it's just like at some point we just don't. I mean, I don't know how many collectors truly are passionate about cards like that. I don't think there's that huge of a market. I think it's just a way for them to put like one relic per this or that when it's just like $1 card. And most people would rather just have an extra numbered parallel or an extra base rookie or something collectible.
Well, here's why they're doing it though. Look at this bounty that's out for the Zion RPA with the logo man. It's
Yeah,
like
that's a card.
$600,000.
Oh, really? That stuff's just, it's like, it's so high that it's like, I always have a saying, after the train leaves the station, I leave. And that, the train left the station on that. Certain cars, when the train leaves the station, Nolan leaves too, and he goes to something else.
But that's a
Because
perfect example.
I don't want to buy at the top, and most people don't either.
That's a perfect example of that card because, and NT might, Panini might throw a curveball and make me look like an idiot, but historically, the rookie National Treasures patches aren't game used. So somebody's going to be paying $500,000 or more just because a card has a little logo man patch on it
Yeah.
that isn't even game worn. So what I get it's hard, it's a hard pull. I get it's a 101, but what makes that little piece of cloth that important? And I'm sure you've seen this too. NT, they are ungradable. Like
Yeah.
all of the cards, the edges are damaged and everything. They're ungradable.
Plus,
So
PSA grades those thick cards ultra hard. So if you guys ever send thick cards to PSA, they got some weird standards on thick cards where it's just like, what? This is a 7? Like, I look at thousands of cards a day, and some cards, this isn't a 7. Like, so, I mean, it's just like people want the best of the best. I don't know. They want to brag about having the Zion RPA or something like that. But
I think, do you think it's, and I'm only asking this as an opinion, but we went through this bounty situation with Otani, and Blowout put the bounty out there.
by the way, I think Otani is a good buy right now because everybody's left. So, go ahead. That's what I throw that out
No,
there.
you're not wrong on that. But the Superfractor, the Bowman Superfractor,
Oh, yeah.
and Blowout put a bounty out. Do you think it is a way for them to use that marketing tool to say, okay, if this card's pulled, we're going to say we're going to pay this money, which in turn then can push the prices and have them push more product out because people are like, oh my God, if we hit this, we can buy a house.
Yeah.
Do you think it's kind of a little marketing scheme that the card really isn't that valuable, but when they see that, people are like, okay, then the box is worth $14,000 because it might be in there.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. I think they're by having that bounty, they're getting the product pumped up, Get people to pay more because when the National Treasures came out, and my brother who collects too showed me some of the Zion prices, and I was like, what? Like I saw like the
85,000.
The one out of 99 was it 50,000?
85.
Oh my God! See, that's just okay. So something I want to talk about really quick is Zion, LeBron, just players. Okay, so LeBron, he's been in the league, 16, 17 years? He's been dominant for almost every single one of them. He's put all that time in. He's got 3 titles, MVPs, all this stuff, right? It took his stuff a while to creep up. Like, this is how the hobby's changed. People come into the hobby now, and they see Zion, and he's pumped up to the level of almost LeBron, and he's played 20 games. LeBron earned it, like, he played years and years and went through finals and lost finals and MVPs, and Zion's like the hype, and he looks great. Granted, he looks like a great player, but I think if you're buying Zion right now at those crazy levels, like
There's no room for growth.
Exactly. Like I don't like. Yes, they could definitely go up more, but how much more? Like,
You have to also. People don't think this, okay, and you're a collector as well as a seller, so I know you're seeing this. I actually just bought a card tonight. I bought the 2012 Heritage Mike Trout. I told you about the 2012 Topps Chrome. People are priced out, for the majority of people, they're priced out of the rookies when they get to that point. So Zion's already up here.
Exactly.
So the second year cards are starting to come into play. And as you touched on, and as like I've said, why did it take a guy like LeBron 17 years for his card to be reaching the value that it's at right now, when Zion is coming right out the gate and he's played almost as many games as LeBron has years.
Yeah, it's almost like people are putting Zion on the same level as LeBron.
Or Jordan. I mean, Jordan rookie didn't even go up until the documentary.
Zion could go on and have a career similar to LeBron. Like, personally, I don't think he'll ever be as good a player as LeBron, but I think he could be a tier or two under. But why is his stuff already up there when he's played 20 games? It's just things like that. If you've been in the hobby a while, you see things like that, you just run from those cards.
That's why we sold them raw as soon as we pulled them.
You don't want a part of it. For me, at least, I know some people want in on that action, but for me, I would just go buy some LeBron star rookies and call it a day.
Well, you would appreciate this. The Zion that I kept, it's his Don Russ, because it has the rated rookie.
Yeah, that's a good card. I want to try to get one of those in a 10. But cards like that are like base cards, base tops, base Don Russ, base tops chrome. Like, I've noticed the Peyton Manning tops chrome has exploded. That card, I mean,
It's gone to the roof.
I don't know what a 10 is, PSA 10. It might be close to $1,000, but I know that card for a while was $50, $40 raw for a long time. Cards sit like this forever, then they go like that. It's just crazy. No, it's just crazy because I'm always buying for my PSA bulk, so I can kind of see the market, and I'll go to buy a card, and I'm like, whoa, what happened with that one? That one exploded. Can't really buy it for what I used to.
And my wife, who's in the chat, she can attest I attempt to do that, but I will look at somebody and I'll be like, this is probably a good buy right now, but then I talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
There's times, just like what I told you about with Lamar before we got on here, that I make the smart decision, but more times than not, I question myself and talk myself out of buying it, and then 2 weeks later, I'm like, damn it, I knew it.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to learn to just trust the system.
Trust your instincts, trust like the process of it. Like, people want to buy the right card and see it go up in a week, but sometimes it takes time. You got to let these cards marinate, for lack of a better word, but that's kind of
the Lamar is PC, so
the cards I buy. Like, this is a card that I bought. I started buying these, and granted, I only have one or two 10 of this, the Future Watch, but I have a ton of these, and I started buying them all in 2003. So I've been buying these for a long time. And that's a card that sat in a PSA 9 for about 100, 125 for a long time. And I saw a sale last week for 700. So that card's picking up steam. And that's cards like that. Buy cards like that when they're sitting lower. And just wait. You don't need to sell them overnight unless you have to have the money. But Moss SP Authentic, Peyton SP Authentic, cards like that. Edger and SP Authentic is a good buy.
Do you still buy retail?
What?
Do you still buy retail?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll buy some blasters, but I mean, like Topps 2020 Series 1 was a great break for retail. I would buy the hangers, and I hit like a Bo Bichette SSP out of a $10 hanger. That's a pretty big card. So yeah, I like to break the retail, sometimes.
Bobbles, I know you still do retail when you can still, right?
We have not found anything. We found a couple packs. We found a couple packs of 2018? Yeah, 2018 Donruss football a couple weeks ago. Outside of that, we haven't found anything since like March.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we got into hockey, because it was like we couldn't find anything. We found some hockey blasters and the mega box things, and we picked those up. And then I looked at like a case price, and I was like, I could buy a couple Prism blasters at marked up third party value, or I could buy a full case of Upper Deck. It's like I can have fun with it.
That Prism baseball without the logos. That stuff's tough for me to spend any money on.
I will buy. Go ahead, Naz, man.
I'm sorry. I got some Jordans that I picked three for $30 raw from a guy up in Raleigh, and I got them graded. I was surprised SGC graded them. I didn't say error on it or anything. I just sent it in, and they 2 10s and a 9.5. But nice. It's missing the silver foil, and I typically don't do that. But growing up, not like that's what you look for was the error.
Yeah.
And it's not like I don't see that as a big deal anymore, really.
Yeah.
It's like you want it perfect.
I don't really get into the Panini, like the Prisms and stuff like that, but I will show you one thing I do buy for my PC. It's like, the NT with the
some
the rookies.
Cool patches on some of those.
Yeah, like this is a Rendon 101 with the Majestic tag. Unfortunately, they're sticker autos, but well, this was actually on card. But I'll buy like the Immaculates and stuff like that. I'll buy for PC, but as far as
breaking up
to rip and stuff, nah.
Because as you can see, like Prism baseball isn't really exploding, and that's probably just because I don't have the logos or the team names. But I think if they did, that stuff would be pretty hot.
Oh, Panini makes a great product.
They do, and you've seen the rise in basketball, of course, but football is starting to, like 2018 and 2019 Prism hobby. I've seen a definite rise in those products. Those have heated up. Okay,
question. Speaking on Prism football, how many Lamar Silvers do you have?
Like 2 or 3.
And how many were made?
The stated print's around 200.
That's what I thought. Okay, we can continue.
But yeah, if you want to work a deal for one, we could work something out.
That's out of my price range, man. I know that's a huge card.
Yeah, I actually bought one at the National last year, raw, for 40.
40?
Yeah, and then I sold it for this is even better. Then I put it in auction and sold it for like 40, like a week later. So I did great with that one. And then then it started to rise up. And now I think it's close to 1,000 now, isn't it?
The silver?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Raw?
No.
Like 600?
Hey, what's it like going to the Nationals while he's looking that up? What's that like?
Nationals fun. So fun.
Is it more of a social event, or do you really go in there to get investments, or a mix of both?
Both. Yeah, it's both. I mean, you just see people, you meet up with them, then you'll like walk around with the person and just shoot the shit and go to table, kind of show a card you picked up, and they'll show a card that they picked up. And at night, you usually meet up with some other people, that are there, tubers and stuff. And it's just a blast. I've been going since 2010. That was my first one. So kind of a bummer they're not having it, but they're still doing it in December. So,
I know Andy he blinded me with refractors. I've gotten to know him, and he said he met you at Nationals, I think, last year. He was a super nice guy. And
last year, there was a ton of people at the National last year. The most I've seen together at once, and it was a blast. Filmington was out there, baseball collector, just a ton of people. Andy, of course, was there. But yeah, it's just a good time. So maybe in 2021 they'll bring it. I don't know if it's supposed to be in Chicago, but to me it's best when it's in Chicago, because you can get the pizza. But
okay, on the Lamar, I guess I was wrong, but this makes no sense to me. PSA 9s on the silver are going for anywhere between 800 and 1,000.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking on that one.
Yeah. Oh, they
The
don't.
base in a 10 just sold for 1,500. How does that make any sense?
Oh yeah, Ron was out there. What's up, Ron? Well, that's just people buying labels. It's just people buying a label because if you've ever looked at Prism 2018 football, it's a very strange set. Like the back always has little scratches on it. It's like the difference between a 9 and a 10 on that set. There's probably no difference. So that's just buying the label. I mean, that's my.
But you're talking raw versus silver, and silver is always king.
Oh yeah,
And the base in a 10 is going for 15, but the silver in a 9 is going for 1,000.
Yeah, I would buy 2 of the 9 silvers if I
Yeah.
was investing that.
Yeah.
That's why when you said that, I was like, I thought it was going to be like $3 to $4 grand, especially on a 200 run.
Yeah,
And those were hobby
it's a
only,
tough
weren't
card
they?
because you get one silver per hobby box. It's not in retail in 2018.
Yeah.
You get one. I think the set's 300 cards, right?
Probably sounds about right.
So 12 boxes per hobby case.
Yeah.
Do the math. That's just cases. That's like a pallet. Like one Lamar in every pallet. It's a tough pull.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that's a great card. Plus it's the silver. Plus it just looks cool. It's got the shine.
Yeah, that like
There's
I
a
said,
lot
when
going into that card.
I talked to you guys, or I talked to you about my situation on the one that I got for the base, and when I seen that it was 1,500, and you mentioned the silver, I was thinking it was like $3-4 grand now. Jeez.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, when the pop's low on a certain card, it just causes it to go crazy. When a 10 pops up, the price pops up too.
Or Gary V benches it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow him, but
That's how it pops up on my YouTube stuff. It's like, the suggestions for the videos, and you see, and then people are feeding off that off the different channels and stuff. And I mean, we touched on it earlier, and it's just like, and I start looking up on the eBay, and it's like, and I do the 130 point website that Bobbles got put out there, and that's an awesome tool. If nobody uses it, you see was it if it's not the actual sale price, it's the offer, I guess. I forgot the term.
yeah.
But
it's also free, by the way, guys. I don't charge any membership fees for the information about 130 point to find market values.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was like a $2.99 fee every week.
Wow.
No?
I might have to send invoices.
Okay.
Oh God, don't do that. Plus, you took personal calls. Jeez Louise, I'm in trouble.
Oh, there's several people that do.
We're all in trouble. We're going to get that on our PayPal now. Thanks.
Yeah. So, Bob, are you gonna do one like a StreamYard thing every week now, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do them on Sunday nights. Just mix it up. People are enjoying it. The people on are enjoying it. And I think it's a way for everybody to connect. So,
Yeah.
if you're enjoying it, you're more than welcome to do it over on our channel one night. Just hit me up and let me know. I got there's a guy from my local card shop I actually want to get on one night too, and kind of talk. I thought it would be cool to have a shop owner's side of it, and he's like a smaller shop. He's not a Blowout or a Dave and Adams, so he can give he's pretty straightforward with me, so he can give some insight to like what it's like, because people think shops just increase the price, but they don't understand, like, especially a smaller shop, they have to do allocations, and
They only get a certain amount.
right, and they're not, sometimes they are getting, sometimes they got to buy crap product to get a better product, and they got to buy so much of it to get access to this. So, I thought it would be cool if I could get him on one time and just kind of give that side of the hobby where he's behind the counter and trying to pay his rent, the lease on his building and, all that kind of stuff, because a lot of people don't see that. And I know I walk in there and it's kind of saddening because he's been carrying retail now. And, I talk about the retail prices being, inflated, and he hates it. He said, I'm a hobby shop. I don't want to carry retail. The problem is, when he puts hobby on the shelf, it's pricing too many people out.
Yeah.
So, and these distributors are getting retail. So, as a backfall and a way to have some income, he'll buy the retail from the distributor, and that sells better than the hobby boxes.
Yeah,
But
it's just too much. Like, not many people just want to go in and spend $1,300 on a Prism basketball hobby box or $600 on Bowman Jumbo. It's just like,
yeah, it was like $640 on a jumbo, I think, at his shop.
kind of out of control.
And
So it's just will.
and he's in an old town, not a large city. He's in a downtown.
Yeah.
And I just told you guys, Blowout's not far away. So he not only has to deal with allocations and prices and all of that stuff, he's got to compete with them.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, guys, how much longer you got, Nats, man? Because I do.
I was getting ready to finish this up. I was going to do a go, no go. I actually did a little bit of research, Nolan, on some past videos from 2 years ago.
Okay.
Did
I make a bad pick?
It's going to be. You've got buy and sell, and this is from your videos from 2 years ago, and it's just a couple of guys. And are you a go or a no go when I throw the name out for the category? And Bobbles, jump on there too. Go or no go? All right.
But this is from 2 years ago, so can we cheat?
2 years ago. No cheating from what you know right now. All right. 2 years ago, these were four of the top candidates on a buy. Was Jose Altuve. And I know
No go.
No go.
No go. Okay. All right. Nolan Arenado.
He's a go.
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 I mean, go.
All right. Albert Pujols.
Definite.
Bowman.
All right.
Buy that Bowman.
Bowman. I think that's the one you actually had on there. I got a note that says Bowman on here. So.
30 to 50 raw.
And then Morel Ozuna. I'm going to butcher his name.
Marcelo Zuna.
Thank you.
No
No
go.
go, because his stuff was never that high, but he's a good player.
He had potential. Yep.
He doesn't have hobby love, but he's a good player.
Good player outweighs the hobby, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, he's a good player. He just doesn't get the hobby love. Like Freddie Freeman should be worth more than he is, but he doesn't have the hobby love.
Did you see the 50-cent fines I got out of those 23 boxes?
Oh yeah, you had some great cards out of those. That was awesome.
There's like 17 Bowman Freddie Freeman rookies in there.
Yeah, and that's what, like a $7 card. And that, get that slab, it's 40, 50.
Right, that's what's going to happen.
You'll have about $7 into the card, or I don't know, $10 or something. But that,
go ahead. No, I didn't even interrupt you. I'm sorry.
that's how you build your account up. You don't always go for the crazy home runs. You turn the 5s into 50, you turn the 12s into hundreds. I mean, you just do that over and over.
And people, if you want to get educated on that, definitely watch Nolan on some of what his stuff is. He's grading in, and what Bobbles is doing, because Bobbles will break it down. If you're one of these guys that are about numbers and you're what a true return of investment is, you need to watch Bobbles on some of his other stuff, because he gives a very good definition of ROI.
And to touch on that, guys, just something, and I'm sure Nolan can touch on this and back me up. It's not wrong to collect autos or want the autos. It's not wrong at all. But when you can turn these $10 cards into $70, $80 cards, and you build that up, it's cheaper for you to go out and buy the auto of the guy you want or the guy you're collecting or whatever. And you just bought that. You bought that off of some retail hanger packs with Boba Shed in it for way less than it would cost you to go buy probably 10 hobby boxes to hit the guy you want.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's kind of what we do. We buy what's affordable, grade it, make the return on it, and then use that to invest back into things we want, things that are worth holding.
Plus, something else to factor. This is what I want to end with tonight is something I've talked about in past videos, but the entertainment value of breaking a box. So you go out to a baseball game. What do you get out of it when you go home? Memories and fun, right?
Yep.
That's what I get out of breaking a hobby box. And if I don't get the best card, well, I still have fun. So that's what I would put into like breaking a box. It's
right.
not all about the actual card that comes out. Did you have fun with it?
That's why I stopped doing it on camera, because like I said, my wife loves ripping with me.
Yeah.
So, and it was hard for both of us to do it. We did it one night and nobody watched it, and I pulled a Vlad Auto out of the silver pack from the Topps update box. That's the only time I've ever opened something and got the better card than her.
As a fan of both of y'all's channels, watching the breaks, especially when you've done the jump wax stuff, Nolan, has been really cool. It's just a simple box. You're moving through it. You're showing the card. Bobbles, man, it would be great. I'd love to see you do it. I hadn't seen that. Man, I'd love to see you do it like a box break, man. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, me and Mrs. Bobbles, as she's been titled, we did a box war one night. We bought a case of 2019 update, and we numbered the boxes, did a random. She took a box, I got a box, and we just had fun with it. And it was crazy. The silver pack, I told her, I was like, I'm gonna save this silver pack. I don't even need it. And then she's like, no, you got to open it first. I opened mine first, and there was a Vlad Auto in there. So, which I ended up selling to Connor, collecting with Connor in the auction. Like I said, he's a kid. I love that someone young is in the hobby and enjoying it. $65. I know I could have got more on eBay, but I know I made a collector that's going to grow happy and a card he could afford. So that's more important.
That's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Quick story. This is a quick one. But out at the National last year, I saw a dad and his son and his dad. The kid was about 6 years old, right? They were walking up to the table trying to buy a box of 2015 Topps update. It was a hot product, right? Dealer had it at $250 a box, and they kind of walked away. And I saw this whole thing happen. So I went up to the dad. I go, hey, I have some boxes of that back in Kansas City. I can send you a box when I get back. And they go, okay, how much? I go, free. And I go, what? And I go, free. You can have the box. Because I had like $50-$60 into it, right? So for me taking a $50 hit, which is fine, you can make this kid's day.
Exactly.
That's what the hobby's about. So I mailed him the box, and little kid wrote me a note, thank you. I mean, that's what the hobby's about.
Exactly, man.
That's point of one right there.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the show for me.
Yeah. And knowing that you now have a kid back, that's in the hobby.
Maybe that kid will be in it forever now. I don't know.
Right. You said you were in it since you were 5. I started when I was about 8. So and we still have all those memories.
Sometimes when you give, it's better than receiving in the hobby.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Even a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of guys. I know we had a comment on there saying, that more guys like us. There's a lot of guys out there like us. You just need to reach out to. Like my channel's new. It's only been on here less than 6 months, and I've gotten to be friends with Bobbles and Cards and Chili's and Andy. She bought me refractors. Everybody's
Andy's
that's
cool
the cool
too.
thing.
You
That's
have
cool,
Andy
man.
on one night too.
Yeah, I'm actually going to get him and Eric on here. And then I got one lined up.
Those
Yeah.
back pages? Oh,
Yeah.
he's a legend.
Yep, I'm going to have both of them on here.
Oh, yeah, his channel's awesome. I love his channel. It's so good.
Yeah, so my niche is kind of going to be like this, like once or twice a week, do something like this is going to be my niche. Get some of y'all that are hot on the hobby, legends, goats, and help guys like me.
I'm still a rookie.
Oh, but you're hot, man. You got real knowledge. You got some solid knowledge, man.
I'm gonna tell you, and like I tell people every time, like when I close out or whether I post it on Facebook or whatever, I appreciate all of y'all because, you know, we all know this in our age now. There's not a lot of people, you know, you can't just go every day and find somebody that's collecting cards or into it. And to connect with people, you know, I don't have a large family, you know. So just to make it short, I appreciate everybody that appreciates what I do, because I just do it to try to help people out and have fun with the hobby. You know, I'm not trying to make $1 off of it or whatever, but it's fun collecting. It's like Connor said, you know, on my channel earlier tonight, they have lunchroom talk, you know, about sports and cards. We don't have the lunch table anymore at school. So this is kind of that substitute for it, and it's still that love for the hobby, and that's kind of what it's about. You know, it's not about 1 million followers or
no, it's not.
You know,
make the content that you want to make.
Right, and that I've said that since day one. You know, I might throw a name out there, but I don't expect people to go run out and buy it. You know, I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know what's going to happen with this guy. It's just maybe somebody I think is a great player or has potential. I don't want to be about dollars and cents on everything. I want to enjoy it. It's like you mentioned earlier, Nolan. You got to have that bridge of making the investments, but also appreciating and respecting the hobby, and too many people now are just that one straightforward.
I think that's when you start to cut corners.
Yep.
Man, I really appreciate. I'm gonna wrap this up.
All right, guys.
Before I do that, I want to make sure everybody knows. Follow Bobbles and Ball Cards on Facebook. Join his Facebook group. He's got a SGC submission that's working on. So if you join that, you can get on that. He's got a YouTube channel. He's on Instagram as well. And of course on YouTube. And then I want to thank you for being on here. And then Nolan, he's got his, both of them both have eBay channels. And Nolan, correct me, it's KC Futures 9, I think. I think that's what I got.
Yeah.
So check out his products.
If you go into the store, it's like Cardboard Futures, but my actual eBay name is KC Futures 9. But
just search for Acuna Bat Down PSA. You'll bound to find his store.
Yeah, you'll probably see one. That's going to be the card to have, though.
Yeah,
I think that's the 89 Griffey Future. Yep. I've told my wife the same thing. It's the next icon.
All right, guys. That was fun.
Man,
thank you, guys.
Y'all. Hey, everybody, keep your head up, your eyes up, head on the swivel. Deuces, we're out.
All right.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, bye-bye, y'all.